Hello everyone, we are going to discuss about Royal Bird, one of the main segment in capital flow. Royal Bird, building legacy, building the business. Royal Bird, the best crowdfunding platform for your innovative startup idea, hard work, business plan preparation, launch, growth. Royal Bird, integrated solution for your innovative startup business idea development to fundraising out with crowdfunding, raising funds through by documenting the innovation, business plan, and other documentation, preparation of presentations and custom materials along with video manuals required for investor summit. Royal Bird, crowdfunding, way to raise capital through the collective effort of individual investors who contribute through Royal Bird crowdfunding platform to finance a new startup business, idea generation, business plan, and other documentation, preparation of presentations and custom materials along with video manuals required for investor summit. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is one of the most innovative ways to raise funds for a cause. Modern-day crowdfunding is incorporated from the West and is done online. There are other known as well, but crowdfunding, mainly the types of crowdfunding such as equity-based crowdfunding, will be discussed in this post. Before we get into detail with the different types of crowdfunding, what is crowdfunding and how does crowdfunding work? Crowdfunding is a practice of raising funds from individuals to support your cause. Crowdfunding operates on the principle of trust and support. If people believe in your cause, they will help you by contributing a nominal amount. But, before that, the crowdfunding campaign has to be started with keeping many things in mind. It does require effort to publicize and promote your cause. Crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project or a venture by raising money from a large number of people, especially via the internet. These people are called investors, and they can contribute any small amount of money depending on their capabilities. It targets individual donors. Fundraising is seeking financial support for a cause or a charity. It reaches more audience because someone who starts a fundraiser campaign has a lot of followers or support, and the supporters persuade their networks to garner more reach. There is a misconception that fundraising is more effective as compared to crowdfunding. However, the power of internet, social media, virality and trends make crowdfunding campaigns more successful as opposed to traditional fundraisers. Did you know over $34 billion was raised during 2015 using crowdfunding? Got idea? Don't know what to do? Have no idea what to do with your idea? Create vision with Royal Bird. How does crowdfunding work and what is its origin or history of crowdfunding? If you are wondering that crowdfunding is a new concept which is slowly taking over, it is not. It has been practiced in India since ancient times, mostly for funding cultural and religious causes. We call (1) Donation-based crowdfunding, 2. Reward-based crowdfunding, 3. Equity-based crowdfunding. Here's more about each of them. Types of crowdfunding. 1. Donation-based crowdfunding. The best example for this would be raising funds from individuals to support personal or social causes. 2. Reward-based crowdfunding. This type of crowdfunding is also known as the non-equity way of funding your project. It has been widely used for funding campaigns like supporting a free development of software, promotion of motion pictures, aiding scientific research and development of inventions, etc. The people who are funding are hopeful of returns from the project. 3. Equity-based crowdfunding. This is a form of crowdfunding where the contributors would technically become stakeholders of a firm. In equity crowdfunding, the contributors receive a share of the profits earned by the company, but they would also incur losses. Equity-based crowdfunding is a high-risk method of fundraising, and therefore needs to be regulated by a regulatory body. Donation-based crowdfunding, in which there is no financial return to the investors or contributors. Common donation-based crowdfunding initiatives include fundraising for social entrepreneur, differentiators, disaster relief, charities, non-profits, and medical bills. Donation-based crowdfunding is a way to source money for a project by asking a large number of contributors to individually donate a small amount to it. In return, the backers may receive token rewards that increase in prestige as the size of the donation increases. For the smallest sums, however, the funder may receive nothing at all. Sometimes referred to as rewards crowdfunding, the tokens for donations may include pre-sales of an item to be produced with funds raised. Donation-based crowdfunding can also be used in an effort to raise funds for charitable causes. Because this sort of crowdfunding is predicated on donations, funders do not obtain any ownership or rights to the project, nor do they become creditors to the project. Fundraise for life. Reasons may be many, but some will not have money for their health problems, and to get recovered they may use this platform. And some people, for their projects also, they will not be having. They may request for that also. Based genuinity, people will donate. Process flow. Step 1. Create your fundraising campaign. There's no easier way to share your story and attract support. Step 2. Share with family and friends. Our built-in connections to Facebook, Twitter and email make sharing a breeze. Step 3. Easily accept donations. Receive your money by requesting a check or bank transfer. Step 4. Enjoy the results. Make changes, post updates and send thank you notes from your dashboard. Step 5. Keep your funds safe. Quality of your idea can bring funding for your future business. Rewards. Someone pitches an idea or project. Thousands back it with their contributions and get rewarded, ideally with the product or service they have invested in, or with other rewards mentioned by the campaigner in prior. Rewards-based crowdfunding is especially popular among startups and businesses that provide the product or service in return for funding to start or run the business. On reward-based crowdfunding platforms, it has been widely used by creative projects too. Step 1. Hatch a plan. Planning ahead is crucial to running a good fundraiser. If you are a startup, come up with the blueprint and calculate the cost of the product or service you wish to offer. For creative projects too, figure out the final cost of the movie or artwork you wish to prepare. Step 2. Fix your rewards. After you've arrived at your goal amount, fix your rewards. While some campaigners prefer to fix a single contribution amount for their product, others provide a range of rewards for different contribution amounts. If you offer multiple products or services, each one is obviously priced differently and thus can be given against a different contribution amount. If you have difficulty selecting your rewards, Step 3. Start a fundraiser. Log in to Royal Bird, post your idea, discuss with Republic Advisor. Make sure you write a solid pitch for your story and are clear about the rewards. If you can mention the delivery date for the rewards as well. Fundable gives you 3 great tips to write a good pitch. Step 4. Find backers. Promote your fundraiser on social media to find backers. Target your core community first. If your product is a video game, you obviously know who'd be the first takers. You can also host offline events, a demo of your product, maybe, to bring supporters to your fundraiser. Step 5. Fulfill your commitment. For most platforms, the liability falls on the campaigner to fulfill the commitment made to the contributors. Make sure you set a realistic timeline at which you'd be able to deliver. Keep them updated about your progress and, of course, say thank you. In reward-based crowdfunding, most important is proper planning. Reward-based crowdfunding is also known as the non-equity way of funding your project. It has been widely used for funding campaigns like supporting a free development of software, promotion of motion pictures, aiding scientific research and development of inventions, etc. The people who are funding are hopeful of returns from the project. 1. Idea generation. 2. Business plan. 3. Presentation preparation. 4. Video preparation about idea. Five. Easily reach to investors. 6. Public relation and marketing. 7. Efficiency. 8. Validation. Idea generation. 1. Idea selection. So you've noticed a good idea. Whether you have received an email to an inbox, a notification in your idea management system, or have opened a note from a suggestion box, everyone shares the same starting point: idea selection. Just because someone has suggested an idea themselves, it does not mean that they are always the right person to see it through to completion. It is on you as an innovation leader to find a person with the right strengths, professional aspirations and experience to deliver this project in a meaningful way. Innovation cannot be a secondary priority. At this point, you also want to make sure that the person chosen to lead this idea will have some form of resources available to start making it happen. If you cannot delegate preliminary resources at this stage, you're going to have major problems implementing this down the line. There is no obligation for your selected idea to be a fully fledged business case. At this stage, an idea is understood to be a hypothesis and might well be altered or changed later. 2. Scrutiny of all aspects. Analytically evaluate all aspects of your potential opportunity like an investor. The larger the project, the more the idea's ROI will be scrutinized. Key aspects of your overall assessment are: the potential target audience you wish to reach, the potential value this idea or product could represent for your business, how much of a risk does this represent. Of course, what you define as a risk is up to you. Market viability. Does anyone actually want this? While ROI doesn't always reflect a financial value, it is important you are fully aware of the benefits and risks that follow with your project. 3. Feedback. Collect opinions from people aware of the market, competitors, business model and similar business experience. Their practical expertise, and that of target customers, will help predict the likelihood of idea success. The real test is when the product is launched, but this preliminary research gives a hint. Build a wide range of opinions, as wide as you can. This is essentially what you did in step 2, but shared outwardly. Find your community, whether that be your stakeholders, your employees or your customers. 4. Feedback reaction. Make necessary changes to your product, strategy and business plan according to the feedback. Anticipate the needed capital to reach set targets. Design an implementation plan with the main objectives in the short term and who will execute them. Just as important as receiving feedback is how you respond to it. At this stage, it is important to understand the value of compromise over resilience. While a full speed ahead attitude is admirable, the nature of your idea at this stage is vulnerable to the biggest barriers to innovation: sign-off and funding. At this stage, you will also need to start thinking about sourcing the capital required to turn this idea into reality, as you will most likely be asking for funding, or at the very least, resources. It is vital at this stage to take the feedback in and adapt to meet requirements. What matters most is getting a minimum viable working project off the ground, even if it's not the fully scoped idea you had in mind. There is plenty of time to reiterate and grow from here. 5. A basic version product. Rather than setting yourself the overly ambitious goal of creating a finished product straight away, focus on simplifying and getting a bare minimum offering out there first. It's important to keep development open to change and feedback, and by holding back until something is just right, you ensure that you gain minimal ranges of opinion and are far more likely to be caught out. A bare minimum offering shows target customers what the product is or will eventually be. A good idea is to build the basic product as quickly as possible, and to make it inexpensive, you have to present a low barrier for entry. What often gets misconstrued, in the tech space especially, is that getting a product to market isn't at all about working fast, cutting corners and doing an overall rushed job. You don't need to drive yourself into a crazy rush just to get your product finished and out there. On the other end of the scale, and maybe equally as damaging, you mustn't scale back your ambitions to tiny projects just to ensure you don't spend too much time. Both of these result in a substandard offering. The key is to start with your minimum viable product, MVP, get that right and functional, and then build from there. 6. Hitting the market. Get your product to market quickly and start examining customer reactions. While one manufacturer waits and refines their product to make it ideal for customers, a competitor sells successfully an acceptable similar product. But why force out an unfinished project? Many would react in shock being advised to release something that's not done. So, why does this matter? It matters because right now, it is essentially still just you and your idea. Even with co-workers and even stakeholders involved, it is still entirely internal. You assume that people would be interested in your project, or buying your product, but you have nothing of any real weight until you test to find out. A minimum viable project isn't just a way to get a working example live so your market can start engaging, it's also a very good way to minimize risk. If your project doesn't have the reaction from the market you've expected, here is where you can go back to the drawing board without losing a significant investment. 7. Go for a test drive. Early testing of business experience factors such as pricing model, visual branding, messaging and customer experience can be done at this stage. This by no means is your final version, but keep in mind the promises you make in this stage as everything is still up for change. This is a dry run for your business, where you can gauge real market response. It is entirely up to you how narrow or broad your test drive is. This is also, even more so than the product itself, the perfect testing ground for marketing messaging, sales pitches, promotions and campaigns. 8. Corrections and improvements. This is quite possibly the most important stage of the 10. How you respond to feedback will determine how close your product will resonate with the market. Remember, you want criticisms and questions. If you get only positive responses back, you've either created something perfect, nice, but unlikely, or your audience just isn't the right one. In truth, this is also stage 11. You will want to continuously improve your offering, and there's no better way to do that than to listen to what your customers struggle with. If focused on a more digital deliverable, this is an incredibly useful QA stage of sorts to test user experience, UX, and user interface, UI. Additionally, if your MVP's UI and UX are causing confusion, something needs to change here as your product is only going to get busier and more developed. 9. Growth planning. Updates on the product, business plan, marketing and financial strategies enable expansion. If it really proves to be a winning pitch, this is also a good time to gather resources and raise capital. This is where you truly start building for the future. Your idea is no doubt exploding with potential features, implementations or applications, and this is where you get to map out exactly what your idea's picture of success is, as well as the time frame in which you wish to achieve these goals. As you're currently sitting at MVP status, you will want to evaluate exactly what is required to drive you forward. Key aspects to focus on in this stage are: roadmap of product updates, overall business plan, marketing strategy, resources required, Capital required. Appropriate stretch goals. 10. Time to expand. It might be the last point, but it isn't the end of your journey. Expansion should always be followed by corrections and improvements, followed again by expansion. It is a constant cycle of continuous, autonomous improvements that we call everyday innovation. With a proven business strategy, an ambitious expansion plan, engaged stakeholders already invested, a ready and responsive market, and an outcome that will continue to grow and improve, your idea is set to take on the world. Business plan. Every business needs to have a written business plan. A success story would not be possible without the right idea management process in place. Since innovation plays a central role in every sustainable business strategy, many companies rely on innovation software to help them capture, evaluate, and implement the brightest ideas. Executive summary. A snapshot of your business. Company description describes what you do. Market analysis. Research on your industry, market and competitors. Organization and management. Your business and management structure. Service or product. The products or services you're offering. Marketing and sales. How you'll market your business and your sales strategy. Funding request. How much money you'll need for next 3 to 5 years. Financial projections. Supply information like balance sheets. Appendix. An optional section that includes resumes and permits. Every business needs to have a written business plan. Whether it's to provide direction or attract investors, a business plan is vital for the success for your organization. But how do you write a business plan? 1. Research. Research and analyze your product, your market, and your objective expertise. Consider spending twice as much time researching, evaluating, and thinking as you spend actually writing the business plan. To write the perfect plan, you must know your company, your product, your competition, and the market intimately. In other words, it's your responsibility to know everything you can about your business and the industry that you're entering. Read everything you can about your industry and talk to your audience. 2. Determine the purpose of your plan. A business plan, as defined by entrepreneur, is a written document describing the nature of the business, the sales and marketing strategy, and the financial background, and containing a projected profit and loss statement. However, your business plan can serve several different purposes. As entrepreneur notes, it's also a roadmap that provides directions so a business can plan its future and helps it avoid bumps in the road. That's important to keep in mind if you're self-funding or bootstrapping your business. But if you want to attract investors, your plan will have a different purpose and you'll have to write a plan that targets them, so it will have to be as clear and concise as possible. When you define your plan, make sure you have defined these goals personally as well. 3. Create a company profile. Your company profile includes the history of your organization, what products or services you offer, your target market and audience, your resources, how you're going to solve a problem, and what makes your business unique. Company profiles are often found on the company's official website and are used to attract possible customers and talent. However, your profile can be used to describe your company in your business plan. It's not only an essential component of your business plan, it's also one of the first written parts of the plan. Having your profile in place makes this step a whole lot easier to compose. 4. Document all aspects of your business. Investors want to make sure that your business is going to make them money. Because of this expectation, investors want to know everything about your business. To help with this process, document everything from your expenses, cash flow, and industry projections. Also, don't forget seemingly minor details like your location strategy and licensing agreements. 5. Have a strategic marketing plan in place. A great business plan will always include a strategic and aggressive marketing plan. This typically includes achieving marketing objectives such as introducing new products, extending or regaining market for existing products, entering new territories for the company, boosting sales in a particular product, market, or price range. Where will this business come from? Be specific. Cross-selling, or bundling one product with another, entering into long-term contracts with desirable clients, raising prices without cutting into sales figures, refining a product, having a content marketing strategy, enhancing manufacturing, Product delivery. Each marketing objective should have several goals, subsets of objectives, and tactics for achieving those goals, states entrepreneur. In the objectives section of your marketing plan, you focus on the what and the why of the marketing tasks for the year ahead. In the implementation section, you focus on the practical, sweat and calluses areas of who, where, when and how. This is life in the marketing trenches. Course, achieving marketing objectives will have costs. Your marketing plan needs to have a section in which you allocate budgets for each activity planned. Entrepreneur says it would be beneficial for you to create separate budgets for internal hours, staff time, and external costs, out-of-pocket expenses. 6. Make it adaptable based on your audience. The potential readers of a business plan are a varied bunch, ranging from bankers and venture capitalists to employees, states entrepreneur. Although this is a diverse group, it is a finite one, and each type of reader does have certain typical interests. If you know these interests up front, you can be sure to take them into account when preparing a plan for that particular audience. For example, bankers will be more interested in balance sheets and cash flow statements, while venture capitalists will be looking at the basic business concept and your management team. The manager on your team, however, will be using the plan to remind themselves of objectives. Because of this, make sure that your plan can be modified depending on the audience reading your plan. However, keep these alterations limited from one plan to another. This means that when sharing financial projections, you should keep that data the same across the board. 7. Explain why you care. Whether you're sharing your plan with an investor, customer or team member, your plan needs to show that you're passionate and dedicated, and you actually care about your business and the plan. You could discuss the mistakes that you've learned, list the problems that you're hoping to solve, describe your values, and establish what makes you stand out from the competition. When I started my payments company, I set out to conquer the world. I wanted to change the way payments were made and make it easier for anyone, anywhere in the world to pay anyone with few to no fees. I explained why I wanted to build this. My passion shows through everything I do. By explaining why you care about your business, you create an emotional connection with others so that they'll support your organization going forward. Presentation preparation. Complete presentation about your product and future plans, how it goes to market, and your vision and mission also important. Making videos is very important to understand about your product and plans. So, many people will understand about your idea and get interest to invest in your idea. Easily reach investors with Royal Bird platform. Have access to thousands of accredited investors and share fundraising campaign. Public relation and marketing. Sharing campaign through social media, newsletters, and other online marketing tactics. Efficiency. Centralize and streamline the fundraising efforts. Instead of duplicating efforts by printing documents, compiling binders, and manually updating each one when there's an update, we can present everything online in a much more accessible format. Validation. Presenting your concept or business to the masses affords an excellent opportunity to validate and refine your offering. Equity-based crowdfunding. As we've discussed, crowdfunding is mainly of 4 types. People often get confused with the concept of equity crowdfunding. In other forms of crowdfunding, such as donation-based, an individual who is contributing towards the project is known as a donor, whereas in equity-based, the person who helps is known as an investor. In India, the rules regarding crowdfunding are moderated by the market regulator SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. In the initial stages of crowdfunding in India, there were no set regulations, but later on, SEBI has set up certain guidelines for people to follow. In equity crowdfunding, investors invest money to support the company. In return, they're entitled to a small share of equity in the same company itself. In this form of crowdfunding, investors don't invest smaller amounts but spend larger amounts, usually around 1 lakh rupees. This crowdfunding technique is often used to raise money for the launch of the company, and not just supporting the cause, but mainly the growth of the enterprise. In India, these funds are raised by an angel or a VC for a startup. People resort to angel funding when banks are denying a loan. It's because banks have lengthy procedures before giving out a loan. Relief from taxes is also provided to those who invest via equity. In countries like the UK, it depends on the laws of the country. Remember, nothing is ever as simple as it looks. When the money is raised, you fulfill your intentions and compromises. The fundamental philosophy of crowdfunding is based on goodwill and faith. The faith your contributors put in you and your will to see the project through and to do good by your contributors. Why Royal Bird? National leader. Royal Bird is trusted around the nation for its simple, reliable fundraising platform. Simple set up. You can personalize and share your Royal Bird in just a few minutes. No goal penalties. Other sites refund money raised if it does not meet the goal. Not on Royal Bird. Mobile app. The Royal Bird app makes it simple to launch and manage your campaign on the go. Social reach. Harness the power of social media to spread your story and get more support. 24/7 expert advice from Republic. Our best-in-class customer happiness agents will answer your questions, day or night. Introduction to Royal Bird. We create something unique every day. Sign up with Royal Bird. Discuss with Royal Bird expert team. Start your campaign. Describe about your product estimate, budget, manage your funds. Money and time period. How much money and in what period of time would you need the startup money to produce the product of your project? Protected. How does Royal Bird keep campaigns safe? Royal Bird gives guarantee that your idea and payments are protected. Royal Bird features the very best in secure in every aspect idea and payment encryption technology. Royal Bird features the very best in secure payment encryption technology. Your donors' online payments are safe, and your money is stored securely until you're ready to request a withdrawal via electronic bank transfer. Organizers and beneficiaries may also request a check. What would you offer for your promoters? Required documents: 1. Business plan. 2. Executive summary. 3. Pro forma of income statement. 4. Pitch deck. 5. Other personnel details.